Hi guys, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a book haul. So first of all, before we get started, I want to thank you so much for 100 subscribers. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I did get 100 subscribers, which is amazing. And whilst I don't really have any goals, like subscriber goals for my channel, I did kind of have in the back of my head that I wanted to get to 100 in my first year on BookTube, and I have, so that is amazing. Yeah, it did happen like a week or two ago, but I couldn't film last week because I finally came down with COVID. So if I sound a bit different, that's why I'm still recovering, and that's kind of why I thought today I'd do a nice easy video and do a book haul, especially since my last one was back in March, and I've got quite a few books that I've hauled since then. Considering it's been so long, it's actually not as many as I thought, but yeah. Let's get going and see what books I have hauled. I'm also not really going to go into synopses because my throat is still a little bit rough, so I will just cover why I picked them up or what's particularly interesting about them, and we'll go from there. So the first book that I've got on this list that I hauled is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I don't think I had this one on a haul before, but I did buy this one quite a while ago. Lucy Foley is an auto-buy author for me since I adored The Guest List. I've also read The Hunting Party, loved that, so I just want to get to her next work. The next book I hauled was Vengeful by V. Schwab. This is the second book in the Villain series? I've forgotten the exact name. But the first one is Vicious. I got that as a Christmas present and I loved it, and so I had to get this one to continue with the series, and I can't wait for her to write more in this world. Next was just a little treat to myself, and I found this one really cheap on eBay, and this is Nimona. This is a fantasy graphic novel, and I don't really read graphic novels, and I have read this one and I really enjoyed it. I especially adore the art style in this one. It's quite cutesy but also quite dark in places, which I really loved about it. So the next book I hauled during one of my food shops, and this is Lessons in Chemistry by Garmus. I don't really know too much about this book. I just saw that it was about science and I like science, and also the naked hardcover is really pretty. It just has the periodic table all over it. And I've been hearing some pretty good things about this book since I picked it up, so I am looking forward to giving this one a go. The next book I hauled was actually one that I already owned in paperback, but I wanted it in hardback to match my collection, and this is Nevermoor, The Trials of Morrigan by Jessica Townsend. This is book 1 in the Nevermoor series, and yeah, I've got all of the others in hardback because I bought them as they came out, but I was a bit too late to get this one, and yeah, I'm so glad I managed to find a copy of the first one. It is used, so it's not in perfect condition, but it was good enough for me considering it wasn't £50. This book goes super expensive, like a lot of them for ages were £50–60, which I didn't feel comfortable paying out for this book anyway, but I think I got this one 15 to 20, it was definitely under 20. And I just had to buy it just so it could match the others on my shelf. The next book I hauled was also another supermarket buy, and this one is the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have also read this one and I did really enjoy it, a lot more than Daisy Jones and the Six, which is the only other book I've read by this author. So that was great, and yeah, it was a good price, so I was pleased to add this one to my collection. The next book that I picked up wasn't a pre-order as such, but I just knew it was one that I was going to be buying this year, and this is Where the Drowned Girls Go by McGuire. This is the latest book in the Wayward Children series. I think it's book number 7, and yeah, I just adore these books and I can't wait for the next one. So next I got a really good bargain with this book, and this one is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I think this one was £2 or £2.50 on Amazon for like a brand new paperback, and recently I've been enjoying my romances, so I wanted to give this one a go. I thought in the end I thought it was okay, but yeah, just glad to have it, especially for that amazing price. Next I've got a few books that I picked up from Trago Mills. If you live in the UK, you probably know what Trago Mills is. But basically it's just like kind of like a supermarket slash range type place where they also sell books and cheap craft bits and stuff like that. So yeah, whilst I was there I picked up the 100 Rebellion by Cass Morgan, and this is the 4th and I think the final book in the 100 series. So I just needed it to complete the set and it was really cheap. But yeah, I have read the first book in this series, but it is one that I eventually need to finish. And yeah, the other books that I got from Trago were the Magnus Chase books by Riordan. So I've got the Sword of Summer, the Hammer of Thor, and then the Ship of the Dead. I'm not sure if this is a trilogy or if this series has 4 books, but yeah, so far I've read the first book of these and I really enjoyed it, more so than Percy Jackson. So yeah, considering they were just a couple quid each, that's a bargain and I can't wait to finish them. So next I think we're going into some of the books that I got gifted for my birthday back in July. The first one being Skullduggery Pleasant Armageddon Outta Here by Landy. This is the short story bind-up from the series and it's been republished, so it now has some new stories in that I haven't read, so I need to get to that one. And yeah, I just had to have this one because I own everything that Landy's pushed out about Skullduggery Pleasant. My friend also kindly got me Heartstopper Volume 2 by Alice Oseman. I've so far only read the first volume, but it is one that I'm very interested in and I'm really enjoying, so I need to get to the rest of them. This one I also received for my birthday and it's definitely one of my favourite books of the year, if not the favourite, and this is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. Don't even have to say too much about this book, I've just been raving about it lately. So glad I own it and I really hope a book box does a special edition because I need more copies of this book. And the last book that I purchased with some birthday money is Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. I've also read this one and I really enjoyed it. It was something that's very different to anything I've read recently, and the Victorian setting just made it perfect to read at this time of year, so I can't wait and I'm definitely going to be hauling the sequel as well. So the last couple books out of the books that I just purchased were charity shop buys, and the first one was Fever Dream by George R.R. Martin. I don't really know too much about this. I really loved Game of Thrones. I've read all of the books up to date so far, and I think if I remember correctly this is his vampire novel and I love vampires. So yeah, George R.R. Martin and vampires, definitely something that I want to check out. And the other one that I found in the charity shop for £1 as well was It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, and I haven't really been interested in reading any Colleen Hoover books before, but for £1, and considering there's quite a lot of hype around her and this is I think her most popular book, I might as well give it a go. So those were all the books that I just straight out bought either online or when I was out and about. Now moving into a few books that I had pre-ordered on Waterstones. So they were books that I knew absolutely ages ago that I needed, and they arrived between March and now. So let's see what I hauled. The first one was the last book in the Skullduggery Pleasant series, Until the End by Landy. I just had to have this one because it was the finale to one of my favourite series, and yeah, sprayed edges. I love these editions. The next one is also a book that I needed to carry on with a series that I've already started, and this was Glow by Raven Kennedy. This is book 4 in the Plated Prisoner series. Unfortunately, I just haven't got around to reading this one yet, but it is a series that I want to get back into at some point. I love the designs on these hardcovers. At the moment I'm really gutted because I missed out on pre-ordering the first 3 on Waterstones. They're all out of stock, but those were the ones with sprayed edges, so I'm really hoping that they just publish a standard edition without the edges just so I can match them to this one. That would be amazing. So I'm praying that Waterstones will have those, but if not I'll just have to get them in paperbacks. because so far this has been a series that I've read on ebook, because before she got traditionally published they were really cheap on ebook, and now they are really expensive actually, and kind of why I want physical copies, not just because it's a favourite series. So the next book that I had pre-ordered was Wolfsong by TJ Klune. Yeah, I just thought this cover was absolutely gorgeous, and the edges as well. Absolutely stunning. I had no idea what this book was about, and then I read the blurb, and then it's about werewolves, but it also has LGBT rep in it, and I think it's an adult book. So yeah, excited to check this one out. So far TJ Klune has been very hit or miss for me. I didn't really enjoy The House in the Cerulean Sea so much, but I absolutely adored the Extraordinaries, so I'm hoping I will love this one as well. And the last book that I had pre-ordered was Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Alston. This is the sequel to Amari and the Night Brothers, which I still haven't read. But I think I pre-ordered this one back when Waterstones were doing triple points, and I might as well have like had it in case I really enjoyed the first book. And yeah, it has some sprayed edges as well, and also a really pretty sparkly naked hardcover. Yeah, the middle grade editions, like standard editions, are just so pretty. And yeah, I just wanted it just in case I end up loving the first one, just so I don't miss out on the matching copy. And the last section in this book haul are going to be books that I bought from book boxes. Not my monthly Fairy Loot books. I left those out of this haul just because I cover them every month, and you've definitely seen them for sure. These are ones that I've bought separately to my monthly subscription. So yeah, so the first one that I hauled, I might have even got this one before March, I can't quite remember when I hauled it, but when I checked it wasn't in my previous hauls, so we're just gonna add it in. And this is the Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. I managed to grab this one from the Fairy Loot Trove when it came back in stock, which was great because I got the first book in a box and it looked gorgeous, and I just wanted the matching edition. Annoyingly, I have missed out on book 3, so I'm just hoping to get that one at some point off of somebody who doesn't want it anymore, and hopefully find it for a decent price. The next book on this list was actually a pre-order, but I'm including it because you'll see why. So I also hauled the Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. She also wrote The Love Hypothesis, which was one of my favourite books of last year. So this is the Waterstones paperback edition with the blue pages. But I'm talking about this one here because I also hauled the gorgeous Illumicrate editions of Love on the Brain with pink edges, and then also for the Love Hypothesis as well. I don't remember when I hauled those, but I just haven't covered them in a haul before, so I thought I'd include them here. And yeah, these books are really pretty. I definitely prefer the colour scheme on Love on the Brain, but the Love Hypothesis one is okay. But yeah, they've both got some really nice foiling on the hardcover, which is really pretty. And the same again for Love on the Brain. They're just really pretty. But yeah, I fell in love with the colour scheme for Love on the Brain. The purple and pink I just thought was so much prettier than sort of like the reddy pink that's on the front of Love Hypothesis. If it wasn't one of my favourite books, to be honest, I probably wouldn't have hauled it, just because I just don't think it looks too great, honestly. I definitely prefer the original cover. But yeah, I own those now and I'm glad to add those to my favourite shelf. And then the last set of books that I hauled was the Locktomb trilogy special edition set that Illumicrate were also doing, and I just had to pick these up just because Gideon the Ninth was one of my all-time favourite books of this year so far. And so yeah, so they are the standard covers, but they've got these gorgeous sprayed edges on the side, And then underneath, the foiling is just incredible. So this is the foiling on Gideon the Ninth, and it's just got the title on the side. And then there's also some additional artwork underneath the dust jacket, so that's that one there and that one there. And I think these are made so that you can have an alternative dust jacket on the book, but I've never worked out or been able to do them neatly because they're just made so that the book goes in that way, and that's where the indents are. I don't feel comfortable like properly giving it a good go to get it on the book and potentially ruining it. If you've had any experience putting on the alternative versions of the covers, let me know if it is easy to put back like this afterwards, but I don't want to risk it because this is definitely my favourite cover. And yeah, anyway, that's a massive tangent. But yeah, we've also got book 2 in the series, Harrow the Ninth, which is really, really stunning. Blue is my favourite colour, so this one is possibly my favourite edition. And yeah, instead of a blue under here, we've got a silver on the foiling. And then this one here is definitely my favourite under dust jacket art. I just think those characters are really, really cool. And then the final one is the newest book in the series, and that is Nimona the Ninth. Here we are. So she's all pink and purple with her edges. I really wish that this purple was a slightly nicer purple. Yeah, it's quite a pinky purple, and it doesn't pop as much as the orange and blue, but it still looks okay. It looks a lot better on the front here. So here we've got some purple foiling, which looks really, really pretty. And yeah, and then the art under that one. And yeah, and all 3 of the books are hand signed by the author as well, which is really cool because the Infernal Devices set that I got from Illumicrate last time, it possibly had the first book signed by the author but not the rest of them. I'll have to check that. But yeah, it was just so nice that they were all hand signed as well. That's just such a lovely addition. But yeah, those are all the books that I've hauled since March. As I said, not a bad haul. I think that was 29 books hauled since March, so that's very good considering it was quite a big time gap. I imagine the next one that I will be doing will either be at the end of December or the beginning of January, kind of like an after Christmas book haul. But yeah, thank you for joining me on this very babbly book haul, considering I still currently have a sore throat, so hopefully you guys could hear me okay. Yeah. As always, let me know down below if you have read any of these books and what did you think, especially if you've seen one of your favourites here that I haven't read. I would love to know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye!